What's up, what's up, what's up? As I play with my newly dyed hair. There you go, you guys, as you can get a sneak peek into the new purple. There it is. I'm very happy with it. Been playing with it all afternoon. Hello, hello, darlings. Hello, 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 Phoenix Nation, and welcome to another edition of Wisdom Wednesdays, where I'm going to be sharing with you all kinds of tools and tips and tricks and intuitions and wisdoms and all kinds of wonderful things that will help you along on your journey. So tonight we are talking about something that comes up a lot. It's something that's been one of those things that I too have struggled with, and I know a lot of you out there struggle with also. So tonight we are talking about when is it okay to rest? Now you saw me earlier today, I posted a couple of posts, and as you saw me in my all together, in my dye outfit to do this, and also in the photo for tonight's event, drinking my tea, there you go. Couldn't think of it first thing, I was like, what was I doing? And so you saw those this afternoon, and I was sharing those with you, and going along with all of this is to when is it okay to rest? Because all too often, pretty much every single moment of the day, we are told that it's not okay to rest, that we have to go, 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 that there always is something that we should be doing, as opposed to doing what our body is asking of us to do. So tonight I want to dive into that a little bit. I want to maybe trigger some of you guys into thinking about this idea a little bit differently. So where to begin? As always, where to begin? There's a multitude of places that we can begin, as usual, but suffice to say that going along with the status quo, hey Sherry, going along with the status quo versus what our body is telling us, and the truth of the matter of what our body is telling us, because I just went through a period where my body was telling me, stop, rest, and I was not listening to it. I was going and I was going and I was going and I was going, and then there came a day where I was at Tuesday and today, where I originally would have been scheduled for my side gig and doing the gardening thing, and I called out. And I know that's going to come as a shocker to a lot of people, that what, you can call out of your job and still be okay with it? Yeah, you can. And that is a whole process about getting to know your truth and getting to know when it is okay to rest. The status quo, again, tells us that it is not okay to rest. The status quo tells us that, oh my God, what do you mean you called out from your job? So how, so you're not going to get paid as much in your paycheck this week. So, how are you going to do this and how are you going to do that? And oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, like I can hear, all of the triggers going on. And when it comes down to it, my body literally stopped. It was sore. I couldn't sleep the night before at all. It was essentially starting to go into breakdown mode. And if I hadn't listened to it and said, and actually called out of work, I would be in a way worse state than I am right now. This is me still recovering, okay? This was me, as I was sharing with you today, taking some time to do some me things that I had not done in a very long time. I hadn't redone my hair, and it was sitting there, and I was like, oh God, it's not looking pretty. I don't like it, and all of these things along with that, and just even having a moment to sit down and have some tea with myself hadn't been a thing that I had sat down and done in quite some time. So I made the executive decision to call out of my job so that I could spend me time. And it is imperative that I invite you to consider that you can do the same. So often, and this goes along with manifesting, and this goes along with attracting, and goes along with raising your vibration. So much of the time, we really think that 9 to 5 is the only way we are going to make ends meet. And the further I get into this, and the further I work my money magic, thanks April, good to see you, love, and the further I work into this, the more and more I'm realizing that just simply does not have to be the case. We have been programmed, trained by our parents and their parents before them, and on down the line, so it's not necessarily any one person's fault, but we have been trained that if we don't work ourselves to the bone, we are not going to be able to provide for ourselves and our family, and I am lovingly, not so lovingly sometimes, calling bullshit on that. Because the more I work into this, the more I get to work with you guys, the more I work on my own shit, the more I'm realizing that it is essential that we take these moments of rest even before our body starts to break down like mine did. And I knew this was coming. I knew this. I could feel it. My spidey sense was tingling back there going, you need to take a break. You need to take a break. You might need to take a break. And I wasn't, hey Stephanie, and I wasn't listening, and I wasn't listening, and I wasn't listening. And so what happened? I literally woke up and couldn't get out of bed. My body was so sore. I just had no energy. I didn't sleep the night before. All of these things. Hey, another Stephanie, 2 Stephanies. Oh, I'm so graced tonight. So, but that's the thing, is that we are taught that if we don't go all the time, this is squirrel, right? Sorry, you guys. That if we don't go all the time, that we're not going to be able to provide. And I would like to suggest to you that that does not have to be the case for you. That does not have to really be the case for anybody. Hey, Tammy, God, I've got so many of you on here tonight. I'm so excited. This is a good topic. This is a good topic to be hopping on for, because really, again, we are taught. This is a thing that is taught. But how many of us have heard about all of these entrepreneurs, heard about all of these people that perform service, that they don't work. They don't work the 9 to 5. And they make tons of money. They have lots of manifesting power. They have lots of abundance in their life. And we're sitting back here going, okay, well, what the fuck are we doing wrong? A lot of what we are doing wrong is that we are not listening to our intuition. We're not listening to our bodies. When our bodies are telling us, hey, maybe it's time you took a break. And I'm going to share a little analogy with you that really, really kind of broke open this whole topic for me too. And really just made it okay for me to take a break. Because, building this business and sharing with you guys and servicing and all of these things, like, we get taught, even in this entrepreneurial industry, that you have to go, that you have to be on schedule, that you have to be on course, that you have to be doing this, and this, or you're not going to make it. And that grinds really heavily on a lot of us that are trying to build our own businesses, or a lot of us that are trying to work the system in the 9 to 5. But what we are doing, ultimately, and this goes back to this energetic level thing about the fact that we are always manifesting. We kind of talked about this in the last session, or last episode, last week, is that we are always manifesting. We are never not manifesting. We don't have to learn how to manifest anything. What we have to learn or relearn or re-remember how to do, April says, I rested all summer now to get some money somehow. Exactly. And this is where it's going to come in. Energetically, by not resting, we are creating an energy of chaos. And not the good kind of chaos where it's like the Tower card in the tarot where, some things have to be destroyed so that new things can come in. This is absolute detrimental chaos in the sense that we are running our bodies down to the ground. And how on earth can we be expecting to stay in a positive place, to stay positive no matter what happens? How on earth can we manage and expect ourselves to be able to hold and maintain that level of vibration, that high level of vibration that is required to bring and manifest the things that we actually want to see if we're constantly running our body ragged? Stephanie Miranda saying, I've been saying it all day today. I need a break. I feel my body is shutting down. I just need to make it till Monday and I can have a break. See, I just need to make it till Monday. Well, see, I just need to make it till Monday. We'll turn in, I just need to make it till Friday. We'll turn in, I just need to make it till next week. We'll turn into, I just need to make it till October. I'm going to let you sit on that one. And it's true. And we all do it. And I'm not calling you out to call you out, but I'm calling you out lovingly because that's something that I see myself doing all the time. That's something that I see my clients doing all the time, where it's like, if I can just get to here. And it's like, okay, right. But what are you doing to yourself to get to there? Are you really breaking down your body so much that you're not capable of getting into a restorative place? Tammy says, I think I might rest too much, but my brain is always going. That's a good one. Well, in those cases, you might just go up and get up to take a walk. Do some yoga. Just like get the body moving so that you can put the body and the brain more in motion. And that's something that you and I can work on one-on-one, because that's something that's like interconnected with a lot of other things. But the analogy that I wanted to share with you ladies tonight is, think about it this way. Nature, Mother Nature, Gaia, this whole planet has seasons. And I don't just mean, ooh, pretty seasons, you know, and this and this and this. It has cycles of growth, of expansion, of maintenance, and then it has periods and seasons of where it winds back down, where it shuts down, where it goes into a restorative energy so that it can indeed respring when spring has sprung. Because if you think about it, those trees that are evergreen, do they ever really bloom? Not so often. Sometimes yes, but more often than not, all of the beauty that we see around us, all of the trees and the fruit trees and the plants and the bees and the things and the stuff and the animals, they all have periods of rest. They all have shutdown time during the winter season that allows them to build up enough energy, that allows them to go through the stores and get through all, like detox themselves and go through all of this thing. You know, some go into, like bears, some go into hibernation, where they go through and they use up all of their energetic stores, which is burning through all of the toxins and all of these things and all of like that, getting rid of all of the stuff that we don't need to use anymore. Nature has seasons. So why, oh why, oh why on earth do we as human beings, as a part of nature, because let me reveal it to you, if you grow hair and you poop, you're kind of considered part of nature. Because everything that is part of nature grows and excretes something, one way or the other, right? We as human beings are an integral part of nature. And our status quo of our culture in the modern day has taken us so far away from that we have completely forgotten that we are also nature's creatures. We too need a time of rest and restoration. But we don't give ourselves that. Ever. Ever. So how on earth can we expect it to come through and have a springtime come through with renewed vigor and beauty? How can we expect to come through if constantly we are maintaining the same level, where we never dip down, we never give ourselves that rest, we never give ourselves that restorative time? How on earth are we really expecting to continue to maintain resiliency if we don't give ourselves that time? And resting too much, again, is one of those things. Stephanie's totally relating to Tammy. This is one of those things that is so hard for us to wrap our head around. And the whole brain thing is a whole nother thing too. That is a whole nother topic for a whole nother time. But if you ladies want to hop on and message me, we can talk about working on that, because that is one of those things too that has to do with not believing that we can give ourselves rest time. Even because if our brain is always going, we're technically not at rest. If we're not taking a moment and kind of not really thinking of anything actively, we're not even giving our brain a rest. Think about it. If you're constantly pondering, constantly, you are leaving no room, you're leaving no room for there to be any new input coming. If your brain is constantly running, if you're not giving it any space, or even trying to, you're not going to get those intuitive hits as easily. You're not going to get those messages from spirit and angels as easily, if at all. Because this is like one of my favorite metaphors. If the phone line is always off the hook, nobody can call in. And an overactive brain is one of those things where our brain is off the hook. Our mind is off the hook. So nobody can call in. It can't receive anything. because it's active. It's too active. It's constantly on. So this totally goes along with with what we're talking about tonight, is that it is imperative that you begin to, even if you have to start to schedule it in, and as you know, like I'm feeling like the resistance come up about this, but even if you have to schedule it into your life where you say, look, friends and fam, mostly fam, because they're a lot of the ones that like to maintain said status quo, I'm going to take Sunday afternoons for me, or I'm going to take Wednesday evenings for me, or I'm going to take whatever it is. I had to start doing that to where I scheduled in time to take a restorative bath every single week, because I am working so hard and so often and pulling myself in a lot of different directions. If I did not actually schedule it in, it wouldn't happen. Because it'd be like, just like Stephanie was saying, oh, well, if I can just make it till next week, then I'll have time to take a break. Next week never came, okay? And I'm sure you can resonate with that. It doesn't really come. If you don't take the reins back of your life, take your power back, right? If you don't take your internal power back over your own life and over your own energetic system, it's not going to happen. Because there will always be something that comes up that is going to get in the way, especially if you let it. So I implore you to start to begin to find those times where you can sit down and do nothing. I know, it sounds crazy, right? Doing nothing. But here's the thing. When you're doing nothing, you're actually giving your brain and your body a chance to restore itself. Because all day and all night, your body is fighting all kinds of stuff. You're awake, you're aware, you're doing stuff, you're walking, you're thinking, you're this, you're that, you're the other. If we don't give ourselves that time to take it down, then we never give our bodies that time to restore itself. Our body needs time and space to restore itself. And if we don't give it that, we are actually running the risk of causing even more of these diseases, dis-ease is, right? That's caused by inflammation and all of these things, because our body, and this has to do with a lot of other things too, but one of the main things is that we don't give ourselves time to relax, to not think about anything, to not have to deal with anything, to be off duty. We do not give ourselves that time, and that is what is slowly killing us, more or less. And you're no good to anybody if you're dead, not even to yourself, okay? Matter of fact, what's Tammy saying? Tammy says, I'll be sitting there working, and that's when it'll kick in. I come up with plans to clean, what I'm going to wear, how will I finish this painting? Oh, look, new idea. That show is funny. Oh, something sparkly. If you're happy and you know it, hey, Macarena. Yes, squirrel, right? So that's where one of those things we're starting to build in a meditation practice of some kind. And again, even if it's before you go to bed, even if it's the first thing when you wake up, you just take 5 minutes, go, or whatever. And if you need help building that in or figuring out what plan is going to work for you, then let's have a chat. Because that's what it's about, is building in that restorative time when your brain's not always working, when your body's not always working, when you don't feel the need to constantly be doing something. So much of our culture is built around, if you're not doing something, you're useless. If you're not doing something, what good are you? And that's going to be a huge trigger for some of you guys. And that's kind of what I wanted to have the conversation for, is to start triggering some of these things and start having you guys look at the excuses that you're giving yourselves to not rest. Because again, if nature has a rest period, all of those trees, again, like I went back, I kind of skipped around there, all of those trees and all of these animals that we love, and the springtime and the babies and the flowers and the, oh my God, and the fruits and the things, they go dormant. They go dormant in the winter. They reset themselves. They restore themselves. They shake off all the leaves. They shake off all the excess shit. Okay? They go into hibernation. They go into dormancy. And then they can come back out of it and bloom again. But the problem is that we as humanity, even though we're a part of nature, have been taught that it's not necessary, or indeed not wanted or expected or anything like that, for us to take a rest. I remember back in the day, which wasn't that long ago, but back in the day, when I worked for Universal Studios, I would be taking 5, 6, 7th, 8th days and doing that several times for weeks in a row. What happened? My body shut down. It completely went nutter butters. Absolutely went nutter butters. I started being allergic to things that I shouldn't be, that I've never been allergic to in my life, I should say, not shouldn't be. I started being like food allergic to stuff. My joints started to go. Everything started to go. And it was because I had this belief that if I didn't go, what worth did I have? Because I had my worth tied up in what I could do for the company, what I could prove to them that I was a good worker. This, and this. So where are you telling yourself that your worth is wrapped up in these things, that your worth is wrapped up in the fact that if you don't go, that you're worth less? Where are you telling yourself these things? And these are the things that we can start to clear, and these are the things that I work with people clearing on all the time, because they're sneaky little buggers. I mean, even just listening to some of you guys in the chat right now, like I can start to identify where those things are, where we can start to clear them and go, oh, wait, that is me giving myself an excuse not to rest. Why am I giving myself this excuse not to rest? What is this underlying belief that I'm believing that is not actually necessarily true, but because humanity is such a wonderful manifester, we are so good at what we do that we don't realize that we're doing it, we manifest all of that nonsense. What? I know. It's fucking crazy. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling like you're going and you're wearing yourself thin and you're wearing yourself out, take a page out of my book. Take a day off. Just take a day. Take a day. And even if you have to, don't tell nobody. Be like, okay, right, go ahead and go to work and do it, like they let them go off to work. Hey, Kaylee, go off and go to work. And you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm heading into work. I'll be behind you. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to call in sick today. Really? What's it going to do? And then there's always the factor that we are constant, and this is something that has to do with a little bit more underlying that we work with on clearing, is that the fear that if you don't go into work that you're constantly going to be full of anxiety that entire day, that you feel guilt and shame for not going into work. You feel guilt and shame for taking time for you. And that is a whole other level, but that is all taught. That is all a program. Tammy says, oh my God, I was there once, started having stress-related issues, wound up getting myself into hobbies to distract yourself. Yes. But see, I just find that sometimes these hobbies that we bring up to distract ourselves are kind of a way to sometimes disassociate from the actual underlying issue. And the actual underlying issue usually has to do with what you believe you are worth just as you, as a person. What you believe that you as a soul, as a human being are worth. Whether or not you're giving anyone anything. As opposed to what most of us are brought up being taught is that if you're not giving something to somebody, you're not worth anything. If you're not doing something for somebody, then what good are you? If you're not working, if you're not supporting this household, what good are you? And that's going to be a huge trigger for a lot of you guys. And I want you to start to use that kind of trigger to start asking yourself some questions and going down the rabbit hole and going, okay, so if this is the thought that pops into my mind, where is that thought coming from? And we're going to ask one of my favorite questions. Is this even mine? That's like Tammy says, I even feel guilty for calling in if I'm sick. Do you know how insane that is? Do you know how insane that is? That we have been taught to feel guilty and shame for calling in if we are actually even ill? Do you know how twisted and distorted that is? Think about it. And then think about where that idea came from. Who gave you that idea? Sure as hell wasn't me. Had to come from somewhere. So then you can start to begin the clearing process, which again, if you want help with that, hit me up in my inbox. We can set up a time. We can start those sessions. It's all about figuring out where you want to be. If you want to continue to feel guilty for calling in sick, or if you want to actually be able to feel the relief of going, nope, I'm calling in. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Thank you, God. Right? Like, how do you want to feel? How do you want to continue to feel? How do you want to feel going forward? This is what it's all about. And so when it comes down to manifesting, when it comes down to bringing in all of these things that we want, so often of the time we are fighting our own self because of those feelings of guilt, because of those feelings of shame, having to do with our own worth and having to do with what, our worthiness being tied up into whether or not we are doing something for somebody else, what we are doing for them. Kind of like, what are you doing for me today? We get tied up in that. So what we have to begin doing is doing that digging and seeing, okay, why do I feel guilty? Where did this come from? Is this even mine? Because chances are 99.999% it's not yours. When you realize it's not yours, it's so much easier to clear and release and let go of and collapse that pattern than if you continue to believe that it's yours and that there's nothing you can do about it. Tammy says, I had no hobbies, went home, went to work, thought about work. One day an opportunity arose and it changed my life for the better. It actually gave me a purpose and fun rather than thinking about only work. Exactly. So take it to the next step. Take it to the next step. Oh, there's so many places I could go with this, but it's like one of those things where we could sit here for an hour and chat about this. But really, start doing things for you. Start carving out time where you are following your joy, where you are doing something that does not actually expend any excess stress or energy from you. And if you find yourself stressing out about not having to stress out, then that's a thing. That's a thing that needs deep diving and digging into, because that's an underlying pattern. That's an underlying thought. That's a belief that's coming from somewhere else. That's not you. So take a page from Mother Nature's book and give yourself that winter. It is okay to be in winter. It is okay. It is okay. It is okay. And if you need somebody to give you permission, I give you permission to have moments of winter so that you can come back into spring, so that you can have those moments of restorative, so you can have those moments of rebirth. Because we can't rebirth from an empty cup. You can't, bring out more energy where there's none. If you're running yourself ragged, you can't put your best into the world of the things that you want to be sharing if there's nothing that it can come from energetically. And that also brings us back around to the whole manifesting thing, where again, you're manifesting all the time, but if you're constantly feeling guilty that if you don't go into work, where's your energy level? Remember that chart I showed you guys last week? Way down here. What are you going to be manifesting with that energy level? More of the same. More guilt, more shame, more apathy. And just circling, just running that circle over and over and over and over again. Breaking that cycle is actually taking time for yourself, doing some deep diving, maybe even working with somebody like me that can help point out those things to you and listen to your story and go, okay, so this is what I'm seeing, this, and this. Because sometimes, granted, and I've been there, we can't see the trees for the forest. But it takes time to go in there and dig out those trees that are no longer serving. I know there's a lot of flying metaphors tonight, you guys. my whole life is a flying metaphor. I feel like it's like Monty Python's flying metaphor. Oh, God. But that's it, you guys. So be okay with having a period of winter. And if you feel like you're stuck in a period of winter, start taking small actions. Start going for a walk or something. Start drawing. Start coloring. Start playing around. Pick up an actual hobby that you're interested in. That's not going to take up a lot of initial fundage to have to do so that you're stressing about that too. You know what I mean? Start doing things for you, because you can get that energy moving, you can get that energy flowing, you can get that energy changing, and you can begin to work your way up that energetic ladder. But if we're constantly keeping ourselves stressed out, if we're constantly keeping ourselves in that energy field, we're not going to be able to be bringing in anything that we actually want to see. We're only going to be bringing in all of the crap that we've already got. So think about that. Let that ruminate on you. If you have any more questions for me, you can always reach out. If you're interested in scheduling one of those sessions so we can go in there and start figuring out what the hell you even need to clear and start teaching you how to clear, I'm always up for that too. Message me, shout me out. Let me know. All right, my darlings, I'm going to go eat din-dins. I got sushi night again. Woo! This has been a pleasure, as always, hanging out with you guys tonight. Thank you, as always, for joining me and for digging in and doing your own research and working on yourselves, because the more of us that can raise our vibration, the better off we're all going to be, because it's like Mr. Michael Jackson always said, it starts with the man in the mirror. You can't change the world around you. You can only work on you. All right, my loves. I love you to death. I will see you soon. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Mwah.